Hey guys, so today's training is about developmentally, I can't say that word yet, sorry. It's a quiz question. It's about DAP, otherwise known as DAP. This is the day where we are going to have to begin our DAP journey. And the reason why is because we are going through accreditation. And we're doing that with 3 centers right now, as far as I know. And the other centers will follow. So for you guys that are not ready for your neck buzz to be active in that, this process takes a while to get used to. So this is a great time for you guys to begin. So it is different. And so this is, some of you guys may have never heard of this stuff. So this training is very short, but with lots of information. So that way you have time to ask questions. People can answer those questions, things like that. The reason this training came about is a while back in Kingston. I'm not sure what all centers were included, but there was a group of people, and our NECPA consultant, I guess she is, told some things. And even for me, who's been doing this for a long time, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of information thrown really fast. So I contacted her and said, help me get this out there in a more detailed way. She sent schedules of people who have already been through NECPA and were accredited. They've already become accredited. We have their schedules. She sent videos and books and packets. This is one of the packets that she sent. You guys on Zoom, I am going to screen share. No, I'm not going to screen share. In your chat box right now, I'm going to attach this file because it's a very important packet and it's coming to you right now. Let's see, DAP packet. This is it. Okay. So there is that. All right. You guys can print it, open it, whatever you want to do for a little later. But we're just really fortunate, I feel like, because we have this information and we can be more prepared and know what they're looking for. Today, the objectives, when you leave here, I hope that I will be able to make you feel more prepared for not only NECPA, but state visits, because state used to really not mess with the DAP thing. And now state has really gotten behind it as well. So also this helps when your accreditation specialists come into your room to do observations. It's going to help you with that so you're not so nervous. It's going to help you have the knowledge to implement these things in your classroom and be able to decrease behaviors, because you're going to see throughout this, behaviors are linked to classrooms who do not use DAP. All right. So really fast, this packet, please look at it, read it. I'm not going to go over everything, but it's going to show you what you do not see in a DAP class and what you do. It's going to show you a lot about art, DAP art. It's a little page here on shifting to better choices. Here are things on family style meals, which when you come to nutrition, family style meals is considered DAP. However, we are far from that. So don't think, most of us are, don't feel like if it's in the packet, it's something you've got to do immediately. We're on a journey and little steps are huge for us. So you're just going to take this, pay attention to it. The most important page on here is the very last one, articles on and related to DAP. This has every good article, and it's reliable and valid, and it's not from some pre-K teacher in a church program or at a child care center that thinks her opinion is the best. This is the real stuff. All righty. Let's see. These are the books that were used. I also ordered a couple books to give out, but they didn't make it. They're still in the mail somewhere. Number one giveaway. This is two parts. Can anybody tell me what NAEYC stands for? Anybody? Anybody? Come on. Somebody's got to know. Give it a shot, Miss Julie. I'll give you National Yes, of yes, ma'am. You can go pick out a gift. I'm getting the flashes or something. I'm so hot. Am I turning red? Okay. Question number two. This is why I kind of slapped my mouth. What does DAP stand for? I saw your hand go first.
Developmentally appropriate.
Very good. You can go get your gift. You would be surprised. Like sometimes when I'm going over stuff, I'll say, "Do you know what DAP stands for?" And they're like, I think I've heard it before." But it's developmentally appropriate practice. It's the foundation of early childhood. So before you know anything, that should be what you know, is exactly what all that encompasses. We're going to look at an analogy now that I found that made a lot of sense, resonated with me. Okay. We're talking about a home. Before a home goes up, the foundation has to be poured. Now, in this analogy, the foundation is going to be the child's brain, all right? That foundation of the house is the child's brain. And the home on top of it is what we are stacking on top of the foundation. So, who is it that sets the foundation for a child? What's in a brain 0 to 5? You guys, parents. But you can look at this if you have children as a parent, but we're looking at, teachers. It's also the curriculum, the schedule. Do you interact? Your materials, just thought go into it. It's everything that goes into your classroom, including state rules, mandates, administrators, nutrition. So a strong foundation is made by knowing what DAP is. So this is the process that children go through. We prepare them. This bar gets on my nerves. We prepare children's foundation, all right? And the way we do that is we follow DAP. And, DAP isn't something that a bunch of people just wrote stuff down. This stuff has been, I think in the 60s is when, I could be totally wrong, we did a training on it, but we're talking 40, 50 years of, the smartest out there, scientists, physicists, it's not they just let somebody come in and say, well, I think this is the way it should be. It all has to be proven. It has to be tested. How do children react to this? How do their brains react to that? They do MRIs. They test cortisol levels. You just can't throw something in there that's not valid. So anyway, we're preparing that, okay? We got to make the foundation strong. And we also have to realize while we're doing that if you put stuff onto a child's brain before it is anatomically and structurally ready, okay, because parts of the brain form, and without that formation, a child can't understand stuff. It's complicated. And if we put stuff on there that's not their level, then it can sink it. The building falls down. So our job is to know what is best for children, prepare that foundation for the teachers K through 12, who then get those kids and pump a whole bunch into that house. And our job is to make sure that that foundation is so strong that that information sticks, that those teachers give them. Really the most important of all jobs, in my opinion. All right, what does it mean, developmentally appropriate practice? It is what NECPA will be looking for. It is what state looks for most of the time if it is an evaluator that knows what she's doing. Uh-oh, that was an important one. NAEYC, which Miss Julie told us about, defines it as methods that promote each child, you got to pay attention to that, promote each child meets individualization. Are you looking at the individualizing things for each child rather than, you're just giving all of your teaching to the entire group? Are you looking and saying, well, this child really doesn't get this, so I'm going to pull him into this a time with me where he and I can sit down and go over it? That's what individuating lessons would be. And it talks about strength based. Strength based is like, so say Vivian is writing her name and she gets her V turned upside down. Rather than me saying, Miss Vivian, your V is wrong, I would say, wow, look at the way you did your I and your A and your N. That's really good. When I do a V, I do it this way. So you're still teaching, but you're doing it from a strength-based approach, what they did right. And play-based. Is your room and your lessons based upon a play approach? Because we know that's how children learn. Is it a joyful place? Are children happy in your classroom? And are you engaged with the child and the child engaged with you? That's a big part of it, because you got to have that connection with them in order to do those things. Okay, this might be a harder one, but we've had many trainings over it. Does anyone know what ZPD stands for? It's a hard one. Zone of, anybody? Okay, all right. Y'all go listen in those trainings. Zone of proximal development. And I will just give a gift away at another time for that one. So zone of proximal development, that is the most important thing that you can do to teach a lesson appropriately. So let's look at it a little bit more detailed. So this is, if you're going in to be a teacher, this is going to be the one of the first things they're going to teach you. So what a child can do on their own is at the very top. Then below in pink is what a child can do with your help. Down here in red, that's a no-no zone. That's what a child cannot do even with your help. So when you're teaching something and you evaluate what they know and what they don't know, so the evaluation's the big part of that, right? So you got to know where your kids are developmentally before you can get to the zone of proximal development, which is the only place where learning occurs. Is you do not teach them what they already know. You start to teach them what they can do with your help. That space right there, and that's when they learn. If you're down here and they can't do it at all, those 5 children that are sitting at the table that can't do it at all, they gain nothing. So that's ZPD. Try to remember that. That is a #1 teaching thing. Yeah, yeah.
I know I've seen this with Julie and Angie, they're really, I'm sure other people do it too, but this, if you will use this, this is how you really would do your individual goals in the classroom, because, there's gonna be some kids that are able to do a few things, but then you might have others, I know like with Julie, she has some that are ready to read, and she has some that are still learning their language.
Sorry,
But
Melissa.
you can make little notes while they're playing, or when you're doing your turtle time or curriculum or whatever, and just say, oh, Johnny can do this, or so and so still needs help with this. Just jot down little notes, and then go back when you're doing your your individual goals, and remember, okay, so and so still needs extra help, or these kids are ready to master something else. So if you'll use this and just make little notes throughout your day, then it'll help you when you do your goals.
And that's why we do them monthly, because they can
Yes, they master
move
something.
out of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And afternoons are great. I classify that who goes into what group by that.
There we go. And so we're going to get into that. So Melissa was saying this is what you use, this model, to do observations. And, if you need advice on starting that, talk to Miss Julie. And if you don't know who Miss Julie is out there, talk to me, and I can even hook you up where you guys are contacting each other if you need extra help. But you can do that on post-it notes. And some of these bags over here, there are little notebooks and little post-it notes that you just carry around in your pocket. And you see a child that stacks 10 blocks, you just pull out your post-its and say, Joe stacked 10 blocks today. So then it's time to move up and have him start stacking 12 or move on to a different formation. Okay. Okay.
It's good now.
Is it still good? All right. So when people come in to help programs implement DAP, this is where they start them. Number one, meeting the children where they are at. How do you do that? You do exactly what we just talked about. You take notes. They're called anecdotals. And you do that to plan those individual goals. And you do it by using zone and proximal development. You've got to get to know them, and they have to be securely attached to you before they're going to show you what they can do. So always, always, the most important thing, it goes without saying, is that you want to be where you are and that you truly love these kids. All teaching practices must be appropriate, and you got to look at the levels in every domain, not just literacy. We're looking at physical development, social emotional development. This child can calm himself, self soothe. This child is nowhere near it. So I know as I go through my day, I'm going to teach him different methods of calming himself. And then just never assuming that you know what's best for this child, that you actually use knowledge. Things like this, man. You don't just, some people can just come up with that in their head. But there are so many great tools out there, and it's all at our fingertips. So, what makes this high quality learning environment throughout the day? These are the things that you need in your classroom. This is what makes a high quality schedule, really. Interaction, interaction, interaction. All the time. Your whole day needs to be based on interaction. Child guided experiences. That is a huge part of DAP. And we have to make sure that it's not just, this is one thing I would like to say, and I hope a lot of people can hear this. A lot of the schedules will have center play from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. All right. And the rest of the day is group, 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 led by teacher, led by teacher. This is where I'll give another bag away. Can anybody tell me what the problem is there? Just at the beginning and the end. You've already got a gift, right, Andrea? Right. So even though you've got 4 hours of center play, you don't. And we've been in the centers early in the morning, late in the afternoon. That's definitely not what's going on. Brandy, are you want to talk? No, I don't think so. So you got to think about that. You can't just do that. It's got to be throughout your day. And you know, another very, oh, real fast. So, child guided experiences. That does not mean that you say, okay, you four children, I'm picking you four. I want you four to go play in dramatic play for 20 minutes. And then I'll let you move to, where do I want you to move? Science. That's not child guided, that's still teacher guided. So, what you have to do is let the children pick where they want to play. A little girl who's super into the roles of mother, father, and needs to learn more about those roles or is confused about something that's going on at her home is not going to do her any good to go into science or math. Or, you know, she's really wanting to do this. And so for her to grow, you have to follow her lead and trust her that she knows what she needs, and she does as far as learning. You let them go into the centers, you let them pick their peers. Don't. Now, we had a situation once where there were two children who destroyed each other. They were like cousins or best friends or something, and they destroyed each other. In those instances, you can finagle some stuff to make sure you can do, you know, when you're doing your small groups during free play, you can put her in one small group and her in another, so that way they're not playing at the same time. You know, there's ways around that. Um, you also let them pick the amount of time, but this is the key. If you have, you know, three children that will stay in the blocks all day and you got three more that want to go to blocks, that's when you implement a wait list and a timer. I'm going to set this timer to 20 minutes. You three will have to go pick another center, and these three can go in for popular things. Okay, then a part of it is teacher guided experiences. You are in control. You're not just, you know, you are guiding them. You are making sure that your day is completely structured. Boom, 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 boom. Are there times? Some people think that completely structured means children are never in control. That's not what it is. Structured means there is a set time where you allow children to be in control of what they are doing. And then at that set time, when it ends, and you go into your large group. Now, this is something DAP talks about a lot. And I know that we would have to do quite a bit of work on this, but just let it get into your brain. Large groups should always be under 10 minutes. Small groups could be longer, 20 minutes, 25, whatever's appropriate for the group. But large groups, it's so hard to really be successful if you hold them more than 10 minutes. Some of them want to stay for 20 minutes, and that's awesome. But take those that want to stay for 20 minutes and put them in the same small group, you know, because you'll get discounted in every way and every assessment tool if you're forcing those 5 kids that don't want to ever stay in large group to sit there, and then your 5 that want to learn everything learn nothing because you're spending all your time going, get back here, get back here, get back here. So, and another thing they talk about is teaching hard concepts in a large group is really hard. Large groups should be more for like, all right, let's see who all's here today. Let's go over all our rules. What else was it? Counting, practice and turn taking. So and so, Miss Vivian is going to share what she thinks about volcanoes. And then in 2 minutes, we'll let Melanie. So you're practicing those skills that they're going to need for kindergarten. Being intentional. We did a whole training on being intentional. If you haven't watched it, go to YouTube and watch it. That is so important. You're putting, your behaviors are going to depend on whether you're adding materials of interest, taking away things nobody ever plays with, whether you are saying, oh, wow, everybody is really needing to go to the bathroom at 10. I have 20 people asking, so I'm going to move my bathroom time from 10:30 until 10. Hey, Miss Maddie, or whoever your director is, we've got a little problem here. We need to fix the schedule. So, okay. Yeah, Miss Melissa's talking.
I know Rose does this, Kingston's good about doing the special interest centers. Julie and Angie do them. If you will make special interest centers, like she was talking about, when they get bored with stuff, if you'll rotate that either seasonally or monthly, then that's gonna give them something new to do where they're not getting bored. But also, like the large groups, if you're doing worksheets for 10 minutes, that's great. But then after that, you can have structured free play where you do give them choices and let them go play. But this is a great time, like, again, I've seen Julie and Angie in work, so I know what they do. But Angie can be interactive while the kids free play, which she's still engaging and asking them questions and moving from center to center. And Julie will take a group of 7 or 8 who are ready to advance and do more, and then she can work with them in that small group longer than 10 minutes while the other kids are getting their free play in. And again, while Angie is interacting with them during free play, so it's not just they go do what they want and there's blocks everywhere. You're going from dramatic play, asking them questions, then you go to blocks and say, well, do you feel it? And so you're engaging with their learning through free play. But if you have 2 strong teachers, it's excellent to be able to split them up and do the small groups.
And even if you have one, if you will position yourself like I'm positioned right now, I promise I've seen a gazillion centers and programs do it. You're sitting here, you pull 3 kids from free play and do those worksheets. Because think about it, if you have a large group, some of them are under the table, some of them are eating the crowns, whatever. The kids that really are ready to advance are just not getting the attention they deserve to get. And small groups is just, that's the way of the future. So if you need help, and Miss Vivian, no, Miss Vivian is the queen of special interest centers. I know we have a whole lot of centers, but if you are in Madisonville or Maryville and you want to know more about special interest centers, be like Jennifer, hook me up with Vivian, and Vivian can send pictures and things like that. Oh my, if you are ever at Kingston and you could stop in and see her school age room, it is stuff of dreams for kindergarten to second grade. Yes, so, and then remember Miss Julie too with those small groups, and Miss Angie. Miss Angie's in there with her. And I'm sure more people do small groups. Just let me know about them. We got to start doing that, guys. And we got to start letting them play more than early morning because it's time. All right, so obviously for every one of these things to occur, you as a teacher have to have trainings. You have to come to these trainings and you have to have support. I know things get busy with your directors. And so, guys, if you need support, I'm here for you. And I can go find who you need and say, hey, tell me about this so I can go help these people. And I'm going to let you know how to do that later. But we've got your trainings, we've got your support. Just holler at us, okay? Holler at us and let us know. Okay, so this is a great little video, 3 minutes, and I'm gonna go find my water while I play it.
Okay, ready? Put your hands in the air so I don't mush anyone's fingers. These are more ideas of things you could use for your design.
This is a bowl, and this is these are big ones.
In early childhood, teachers are constantly differentiating for children depending on where they are.
One is much smaller.
One is much bigger and one is much smaller.
Open-ended materials allow young children to access learning in a way that's meaningful to them in that moment in time.
I'm giving you some small rocks. See what kind of marks those make.
If you think about the zones of proximal development, we don't want to frustrate children with a material that's too hard for them, but we don't want to bore children with something that's too easy for them. Open-ended materials lend themselves to children using them in a way that they can learn at their own rate, and we're meeting them where they're at.
Your job today is going to be to move, to transfer. Can you say that word? Transfer. To move the sand from the container to the bottle. And in front of you, we have all these different materials.
Open-ended materials don't have one right way of being used. Children can explore them and use their imagination and take them where they want.
Look at that. She put something inside her funnel. Does that change how the sand goes through?
Yeah, it goes through here.
It goes through there.
I want to try that.
You want to try that?
And teachers are there as facilitators by their side to help them explore those ideas and ask the right question at the right time to advance their understanding and learning.
Can you put your fingers across that and see what it feels like?
That's a good idea.
It has a little bit of texture.
Materials that we choose are often coming from a natural environment. Oftentimes it's not things that we're purchasing, but found items. Things that will give teachers and children an opportunity to have conversations.
Carrying important things. What's inside there?
And many times those materials that are put out are there to support vocabulary.
It sounds like tunnel.
It sounds like tunnel, and funnel. What do you notice about those words? Tunnel, funnel.
Funnel.
They
Well, I want.
they rhyme. That's right, Mark.
When you have interesting things in your classroom,
The honeycomb.
Oh, those are honeycombs too?
you have interesting things to talk about. You might notice one child starting to do one thing and another one will look over and say, oh, that's a great idea. Often you'll see them having conversations and genuine relationships are starting to be formed.
Can I have one?
So I've not seen many that use open-ended materials, but let me tell you, I walk in your classroom one day and I might cry and hug you. That is the number one material that children can learn from, all this store-bought stuff. Because what it does is without you working very hard, you're able to put out materials they will meet every child's need individually because the child is going to do what they need to do with it, if that makes sense. Here is some information on small groups. I believe that you have a packet right here. I think that's the same thing. I'm not real sure. So Zoom people, I think that's why I did it. You have a link right here. Although the dinosaur's missing, I hope it works. That link, it does. Did it take you from circle time to small groups? Or is it something else?
It took me to the same thing, yes.
Okay. So I marked out circle time and I put large learning groups. So if you want to transition from large learning groups into small groups, you can do that and this will help you do it. And the things that are on your lesson plans are still completed. It's not that you're throwing out your lesson plans. It's that you are doing your lesson plans in a more effective way. Here's some pictures of what a small group would look like. I've had one class that has a lot of children, crazy enough, divided into all boys and all girls because all her boys were about the same level and all her girls. That's rare that's going to happen. You're usually going to have, anywhere, let's say from 2 to 5 groups, depending on your class size and your time. All right. To the next. Okay, now think about your classroom. These are problems you see if you do not have a room that is based on DAP. Do you have a lot of behaviors? Too much seating time, too much control over the kids. If you're controlling everything, things that if you're doing stuff beyond their level of development, they get frustrated. All right. And so some children have words. They're cool. They can say their words, but they don't have emotions under their belt yet. And so that ends up being hitting and things like that. So if you have a lot of behaviors, do a checklist and see, what your schedule is. The wiggly and disruptive, there's a whole bunch of research that'll come up soon. I'll show you about non-DAP rooms and DAP rooms and who has the behaviors. Almost all the time, it's non-DAP. It's going to help you.
What if you have one or two, because I know in preschool and a lot of centers,
Yeah.
seeing more and more behaviors.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily always the teacher or the classroom setup. Sometimes, there's this trends going on
Sometimes.
with that child or at home. Do you make, I know we've done like the little busy boxes before that are like individualized for the things that a child likes. If they won't participate and they're wanting to throw stuff and they're being aggressive, would you set up like their own little let them do their own thing? What would you do in that situation?
Well, hey, you guys have mentioned it so many times before that, say you're in a big group, you've got everybody at the circle rug and teachers teaching, and some child is allowed to go sit at the table with their busy box, or they're allowed to go sit in cozy with their busy box. They are still listening. So do not say, okay, you don't want to be here. You can go play a box or dramatic play, or because that's just insane to do that. You say, like Melissa said, you have two choices. You can sit at the table with fidget, or you can go and chill and look at a book. And most of the time, they still hear everything you say, but they're not rebelling against you anymore because you're letting them have some choice. Right? Y'all talked about
because
that.
that does work. I mean, I've seen that work. But then the other children are like, well, I want a busy box and I want to go play with so and so.
Does that happen a lot?
Yes. So do you then say, how do you word it to the other children where they understand
I
you're
think
not, you're not putting them off by themselves or embarrassing that child, but you still want them to engage?
I think I've seen it work a lot where you say, he just needs a little extra help. And you're not doing it in a judgmental way. You're saying we're a class family. And this is magic stuff that Becky Bailey Conscious Discipline does, to where you're a class family. And so this is the greatest thing ever. Oh, our friend is having a hard time sitting still. We're going to let him go look at a book in cozy. Let's all wish him well. And I can't remember exactly how you do it, but all the kids like take their heart and they like wish the child well physically, like give them your whatever. It's on Becky Bailey's website, but things like that, like tell those kids, y'all help me support him.
One thing I do, if we have a child that's different or they struggle with something like that, I'll let the kids know. I'm like, sometimes people learn differently. They learn by doing this, and we learn by doing this.
There you go.
And I just kind of let them know, and I'm like, so, and I'm like, you want them to come join us? See if they can come join us. Offer them, and if they say no, I'm like, okay, would you want to go be a friend to them? But while they're doing this, they're learning, we're going to do it by doing this. And then, to me, if all the kids want to go engage in activity, obviously, I'm not doing a good enough job keeping their attention.
Okay, that's so true.
I need to step up what I'm doing, because I'm doing circle time, and they don't want to do it,
Right.
obviously, I'm boring. So then I have to change something up. I mean, you're going to have a couple kids, but most of them should want to be engaged.
Guys, y'all definitely need to hear that on Zoom. Miss Rebecca was just saying, just like the family classroom thing, be honest with them. Everyone learns different, and this child learns best this way. So we're going to allow him to go sit over there away from us so he can learn. You guys learn best sitting here. And if all of the children want to go what he's doing, Rebecca said, I'm obviously not doing a very good job at keeping them engaged because they would rather not be hearing what I say. That's huge. And that can hurt us as teachers sometimes, but we just got to take it as a challenge. You got to be silly. You got to be, all those things. All right. So, yeah. You guys always just remember it. When you're hungry, when you're thirsty. A lot of times these kids don't get water, or it's not that they get refused water, but they just don't think about going to get a drink or asking for a cup of water. We had one classroom where one little boy was really a cold glass of, little cup of cold water did it for him. So we I bought the classroom one of those big old jugs, and every morning she would fill it and keep it in the refrigerator, bring it out, and whenever anybody is going crazy, hey, you want to have a cup of cold water? Because sensory wise, that will take a child who's just lost it up here, and that coldness and the fact that they might really be thirsty. I mean, dude, I had to get up in this training and go find my water because I couldn't focus anymore because my mouth was getting dry. So always think about it like that. This is conflict resolution, right? So when you do not do DAP, you're going to see a lot of the zero tolerance behavior management. You use that material wrong, go to timeout, go to timeout, go to timeout. Whereas all that is, there's nothing that's working there, not a thing. I mean, is the child you're constantly doing that to, has their behavior stopped? Most likely no. It's just keeping on going, which means, wait, what is that phrase they say? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. So change it up. Be more like, see, this lady's saying, give me that toy. You can't hold that while you're in timeout. And this lady is doing something called conflict resolution. It is a beautiful, powerful thing. And High Scope, it's the name of an early childhood thing, has a lot of conflict resolution videos. It's like magic what these teachers do. And then these kids are like, oh, well, the best solution then is that I take this paper and we go get him another paper. And they learn how to solve problems. And man, how good that makes you feel as a teacher when you can take two children who are stubborn and all of those things, and they end up coming up with their own solution. That's what you see in a DAP classroom, conflict resolution, not go to timeout, go to timeout. This is just something I've pulled up for you guys because I was enamored at the amount of research, true papers, college written, that have been produced about if you don't use DAP in an early childhood classroom, you're going to have massive behaviors. So I just wanted to give you a chance. You can just take a picture of this now, and then later you can email it to yourself or whatever, and take your phone, point the camera at these dinosaurs, and it'll bring up all these articles. There was also 20 more articles. And the number three, I think the last effect is when you teach that stuff too early, it doesn't get stored correctly. So a child might memorize, all right? They'll memorize all that stuff, but it is not the brain. It has nothing to do with anything except for the development and anatomy of the actual brain. Parts of it at age 3 and 4 are just not capable of storing information like that is gonna last them and benefit them for years. It might stay in short term and last for 6 to 12 months, but they're not learning how to learn. They're not learning how to think. That's what early childhood does, is teach them how to think. Then when it's time to store all that information, their brains are ready for it. And it's hard as early childhood people because, people get excited when the building pops up. The building is beautiful and everybody notices it, but no one, unless you're a contractor, notices how solid and strong the foundation is. And so, unless people really know early childhood, you won't get noticed. Parents, most of the time, parents have no clue what a strong foundation is. They're like, show me the building. The problem is the building's not going to stand. And so that's when you can say, well, State or NECPA or whoever, they have taught us some of the coolest things. Let me give you a paper on it. It's all talking about building the foundation and stuff. I had no clue. You want to read about it? And don't ever be like, well, I learned that we're not supposed to be doing that. you're wrong, you know, just be like, dude, I had no clue. I'm shocked. Yeah.
I think too, like, a lot of people think that just because they're smart and can do these certain things, they expect them to be developed in all the other areas. Always happen. So
And that's
that's
really,
why we have the different areas of mental goals, because they might know their ABCs, but not emotionally ready for something.
and that is the high expectation thing. Like, it's like the phrase, he knows better. I hear that all the time. He knows better. He knows how to read. He knows better. But he might be super advanced in literacy and super behind in social emotional development. And really, social emotional development, I don't know if all of y'all remember, but we did a training about windows of opportunity. When is it best to teach children how to write? When is the brain open for reading? When is the brain open for social emotional stuff? Potty training. And that graph clearly shows social emotional number one right now, conflict resolution. Those are the things that really, really matter. So one quick example is phonemic awareness. If you want to learn more about this, there is a literacy training posted on my YouTube that goes into all of this in little bitty details, but I'm going to sum it up really fast. Phonemic awareness is the number one predictor of having a successful reader. Phonemic awareness has nothing to do with can you trace letters, can you say letters, can all of those things. It has to do with you doing rhymes, singing silly songs, having conversations. That's the only way it gets formed. So if all of your children know all their ABCs, but you're never doing these kinds of things with them, that foundation doesn't get built when it needs to. Now, kindergarten teacher might be able to do it, but the window of opportunity is now, so the chances of it not working are higher. Yes, ma'am.
Personally, okay, when I was starting out, we did the high science curriculum,
High rich,
high reach.
high reach.
So anything he expects me to know, like I told you so.
Oh,
No, the hell.
Okay, she turned it off.
They,
Janine.
they focused on teaching the letters, but not phonics, like the DAPA does.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I'm use Hunter for example, my oldest, when he started kindergarten, he ended up taking speech. He was super smart and he could read, but I didn't teach him the phonics. So teaching phonics with letter recognition is super, super important. I mean, they need to learn that, how you pronounce stuff and the sounds and the blends and all that stuff.
That's
So it's
right.
great that they recognize ABCs, but they have to also know how to put things together.
Yeah, if not, the reading.
I have that conversation a lot with just our ninth graders, where they did whole language, and didn't learn letters, or the phonemes, and how to
And
put them
struggle.
together, and so they struggle with reading.
And it's painful because it makes everything else. Because, kindergarten or whatever, pre-K to third grade, you learn how to read, and then you only can learn by reading. And my boy is struggling. But what Melissa was saying, and also on that literacy training, you're going to see this if you want to get into it, and you should. That phonemic awareness, when they started out at Kitty Corner, it was like their little own research project. They used something that was based on the 3 cueing system, an old method of learning how to read. And now they're using something that's based on phonics, and you can see the difference in the children. Knowledge is power, y'all. All right, we are wrapping it up. Let's see. I'm just going to touch on this really fast. I just wanted to throw it in. When we look at other countries, they blow the United States away. But we are getting there, guys. Tennessee has adopted different literacy programs now to where we're no longer doing the queuing system. We're not allowed to do the queuing system, which is the reading that we were just talking about. They're doing everything based on phonics. The state of Tennessee with licensing is now actually going by developmentally appropriate practice. Tennessee is coming along. These other countries, even Singapore, way beyond us. That's some fun stuff to look at. Look up Germany's early childhood program, Scotland, Great Britain, Finland, no formal education until age 7. And they have reason to do it. You can find it out on your own. Here are some great pictures about indoor and outdoor learning for toddlers. See this big old tube? You know how much learning occurs right there? That is the kind of learning that, look at this. You think, oh, well, they're just playing. Oh, no. They have learned so much building that right there, guys. And these materials are not cheap. I get that. I try as much as I can. And I'm telling y'all, if I ever become rich, y'all gonna have some real, that's my favorite thing to do is buy early childhood materials. One day, guys, one day. Um, Pretend popsicles, how cute are those? This is a big deal for preschool. You have, if you don't have writing in your blocks and in your dramatic play, you are missing out big time with learning opportunities. Shopping list with pencils or crayons, checks, recipes, phone messages. This is where real learning occurs. Oh, I love this. Dramatic play center, roll necklaces. I'm the mom, the papa, the baby, the older brother. Alphabet stamps for the writing center. Um, do you know this is another thing? If it ever happens to where state or NECPA comes in and says, we do not need to be doing whole group worksheets, this is what you can do. You can take all those worksheets and put them into your centers, and the children that really want to do them, they do them. They love it. They'll do 5 of them. So keep that in the back of your head just in case. Prayer cards. Dear God, today I'm praying for, and then the children draw it. Love that. Okay, another giveaway. Amber Caldwell, honey, please mute yourself. Giveaway. What is the most important item for an art center? Free art. Most important. You can't do anything without it, really. Yes, oh, she got it. So you can go over there and pick out something. Blank paper. If you do not have blank paper in your art center, go get that Dollar General paper. It's thin as it can be, but there's a bunch of it. And these bags up here have a ton of blank paper in them as well. Okay. By the way, the bakery that I have certificates for in those brown bags, it is right down here in Kingston. You just take a left and you go straight, and you'll see it on your left at an old place called Mama Mia's. You can go there before you leave and get the best donuts, the best pastries. Oh my Lord, they have good stuff there. Coffee, soup, crackers. Okay, just really fast. Open-ended materials, glue, 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 scissors, collage. Please fill up your art center. I will gladly help you do that because I can find those things for nothing. This is in your packet. This thing right here, we're not even going to go through it because it's in those packet. But the main question is, are your hands busier or are the child's hands busier? Woodworking. Over here, there are 2 things of glue and a bunch of wood pieces and some clay that I bought for $1. My design I made is sitting there. You take putty or clay, you can build stuff with it. You can use glue and glue it together. Simple woodwork. Love it. That can be in your art center. You can even do it without glue. Heck, you can use tape and clay and it's going to be mess free, but yet you're still meeting the requirement of woodwork. Just come to me if you need. I had fun doing that, making that. All right, giveaway. Tell me what kind of access and art. Oh, tell me what kind of access you think a pre-Ker should have. Tell me what kind of art materials a pre-Ker should have access to in the classroom. Just crayons? Have you got anything yet? Okay.
Crayons, markers, colored pencils, paint, watercolor, acrylic, pom-poms, pencils,
Anything.
stickers, glue, scissors.
You can trust
construction
them.
paper, felt, literally anything.
Who is the wonderful little teacher at Kingston? I don't know her name because she's new-ish. But she has the children, her classrooms of 3-year-olds. And those children have an art center and they go over there and they get scissors out. They're 3 years old. So pre-K, man, you have got to step it up in art if you haven't already. But yes, they can handle it and they'll blow your mind with what they create. Okay, these are the schedules that disturbed me. These are the schedules that I looked at them and went, oh my Lord. And I came to, well, I didn't say that until I came and I looked at some. I was like, oh Lordy, we got to think about this. And that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to think about it. You're going to talk to your not administrator, but your accreditation specialist that comes into your rooms. These schedules are examples of what NECPA will approve. They're basically the same thing, all right? They are developmentally appropriate schedules. 2-year-olds, we know. Free play, free play, free play. That's just what 2-year-olds do. Interaction during free play, interaction during free play. However, we get to our 4-year-old schedule, 3 and 4. I don't have a pre-K one. And it is the exact same thing, okay? So snapshot it if you need to. These are examples sent by the NECPA, not just our Deborah lady. These are actual schedules that have been looked at and approved by NECPA. They're kind of far away. Now, I want to say this and then I'm going to leave it alone. From 8:45 to 9:50, if you have free play / small groups, and you are letting everybody play for that hour and you're bringing in your groups and doing your worksheets and your lessons, that's the only way, after looking at them over and over, that I can figure. However, don't fret. Deborah is also coming to talk to the ones she hasn't talked to as well. And we'll get there together. But y'all needed to see this. All right, let's move on. What is going on? Yeah, baby.
We just had a state visit at Clinton.
Yeah.
Stacy Rogers came, and she said pretty much what they are looking for. They are wanting to see now.
This is state.
Listed first, and then social skills second.
What second?
Like whatever the structure is that
Okay.
that area, it's either like circle time, math, science, whatever. So they have free play first, and then they're bringing in
Okay.
that, so that they still get the credit and it's not a structure.
That makes sense. And
Well, I'm just like an example, like free play is listed first, but before it was whatever we were doing, and then / free play.
right. Oh, I see. I was in a totally different world.
/ whatever is in that category.
Which is just like small groups. You're doing that free play / literacy small groups. And then your next one, free play / what's our math? My brain went. Free play / touch point small groups is what that was a state assessor that suggested that. I just messed that up. I'm sorry. Okay. Maddie, did you get a gift?
Yeah.
Go get a gift. All right, another giveaway. We're almost done. I don't know why this is happening. Hold on, guys. Okay, really fast. If you are like, oh my Lord, I don't know what to do, this is how you get me there. I'll come for behaviors and most of the time behaviors can be really fixed by adding things to the environment, taking away, switching this, switching that. Sometimes I end up calling people. Actually, I've been doing that quite a bit. We've got kids and parents into therapy, into different kinds of therapy, not just mental health. I've got such great resources, so please reach out and let me help. You do have to reach out though. You can't just be like, Jennifer, come. You got to like be like, hey, let's get on the schedule. Giveaway number 5 or 7 and 8. This is the last. No. Do you believe Tennessee? No, we're not going to do that, guys, because I didn't go over it enough. 7 and 8. Here we go. 2 people who will stand up and tell me after doing this training something that you are going to work on changing to make your room more D.A.P. I need 2 people. It can be one statement. Somebody that hasn't already gotten a surprise. Stand up, please.
I can implement more of these small groups.
Small group implementation. Go get a prize. One more. Chris, have you gotten a prize? Have you gotten a prize, Christy? Perfect. Both of y'all say it because I think there's 2 left. And that's the end of the prizes. Go ahead. Let them have more free play and what? Not sit at the table all day. Give them time to cool down rather than time out, time out, time out. Yeah. There's a lot of great things. Call me if you need me. Zoomers, you are done, but I do want to say